In this video, I will show you the 6 most important questions that come up in Matalan interviews and help you plan strong answers to these that will maximize your chance of getting the job. So let's look at a really important question, which is, what can you tell me about Matalan? And you need to get this question right, because if you don't, it suggests that you've not done very good preparation and you look very bad in the interview. So I'm going to show you what you can say in this question and give you the facts that you can take to your interview to be well prepared. So the first thing you do is you describe them as a major retailer of clothing and homeware. Nice, simple description. You then say that they aim to offer high quality at a low price. They provide convenient locations, good parking, and longer opening hours than many of their competitors. So they're really trying to meet customer needs by delivering exactly what customers are looking for. They also have, for example, a click and collect service where customers can buy items online and come into store and collect them. They were founded in 1985 and their first store was located in Bamber Bridge. That is a good fact to remember, so you know when they were founded and where they were founded. You can then talk about their founder, who is John Hargreaves, who was the son of a dock labourer and built this business from scratch, from the ground up. You can then talk about perhaps the name Matalan. So it's often considered to come from the name Matt and Alan put together. There is a lot of talk online and a lot of places reporting that Matt and Alan are John Hargreaves' children, and that's where the name comes from, that Matalan is named after his children. However, John Hargreaves' children are not called Matt and Alan, so be very careful with that fact. The name appears to come from Matt and Alan, but I haven't been able to find any solid proof that that is the case, because most places say it's his children, whereas his children are not actually called Matt and Alan. So you have to be very careful with that fact. You can also talk about the fact that they have an international franchise business. So that is around the world. They have expanded and they have opened franchises and licensed the brand overseas. They are often really supportive of a number of charities and community. So it's a good idea to know what your store that you're applying for has done for the local community and what charities Matalan is currently supporting. You should also be aware of any rewards or loyalty programs. So look up what those programs are and understand how they work and talk about those in the interview. So that's how you really basically plan really well to answer this question. So feel free to screenshot this or take loads of notes, take these answers and these facts to your interview, and that's going to help you be really well prepared. The next one I want to look at is, when can you work at Matalan? And they're going to be very interested in what your availability is. So you need to plan a good answer to this. And I'll give you some ideas of how to answer it and what you can say. So to be successful, you want to say as much as possible the word yes. The more you can say yes, the better. You ought to be prepared for follow-up questions. So they may ask, can you work weekends? Can you work on a Thursday? Or they may ask about specific times. And remember, if they've chosen to ask about these times, it's probably because they're very interested in those times. And if you say no, it could harm your chance of getting the job. Of course, that's your choice. But they are really looking for people who can say yes. The next thing you want to do is show that you can be flexible. The more flexibility you can offer, the better. And really what they want is someone that actually meets their business needs. And you want to show that you do that. So here are some great phrases that you could take to your Matalan interview. The best answer is something like, I have excellent availability and would be able to work a variety of shifts covering the full range of Matalan opening hours. That really is the perfect answer because it covers everything. You could decide to answer slightly differently. You could say, I am highly flexible and would be open to working a variety of daytime, evening, and weekend shifts, depending on business needs. That's quite a nice flexible answer. You could say, I would be open to overtime. It's available. That's just a nice thing to offer. If you're slightly more restricted and they give the job times on the job advert, you could say something like, I am happy to commit to working all of the hours on the job ad. So these are really some of the strongest answers. What you want to do is focus on what you can do and don't spend lots of time listing all the times that you can't work, because you're basically giving them a list of reasons not to employ you. You ought to be focusing on having a can-do attitude and offering as much availability and flexibility as you can. And that's how you're successful in this question. The next question they quite often like to ask is, what does good customer service look like? They want to test, do you know what good service actually looks like? So let's look at some things that you could say and base an answer off. So the first thing you say is, you need to know Matalan products. You need to actually understand what the company's selling. You need to know where everything is in the store and just be generally a knowledgeable person. Because if someone comes to ask you a question and it's a basic question and you don't know the answer, that immediately stops that interaction being good customer service. The next thing is you say that it's genuine, you're reliable, and that you're professional, that they can rely on having someone that really genuinely cares about delivering good service, that they can be trusted, relied on, and that they always behave in a professional manner. That's just getting the basics right. That all interactions are done with warmth, positivity, and a smile, that you genuinely want to help customers, and that's important to you. That it's consistent, so it doesn't matter who you talk to or what Matalan store you go to. Great customer service is all about consistency. You should always get a good experience regardless of who is in front of you, and you are part of that. The next thing is you say that there should be a customer centric culture, that everything that the business does should be based around delivering great service to customers, and there should be a continuous process of improvement to always strive to deliver that great service. And then the last thing you can say is that really great customer service is all about going above and beyond customer expectations. That's how you deliver great service. The next thing that I would advise as a top tip is I would have an example of a time that you gave really good customer service and a time that you received really good customer service. Because sometimes they ask for, can you give me an example? And it's good to have an example. So think about your career history, think about your history as a consumer, and have examples ready. And that can be either used to enhance your answer or prepare for another common question that comes up. The next question is, why would you like to work for Matalan? And I can't tell you exactly why you want to work for the company, but I can give you various suggestions of things that you could say that will help you plan a strong answer. So the first thing is you want to think about, what makes Matalan special? Why do you want to work here and not somewhere else? You might want to think about, how does Matalan match your skills? How does it match your experience? So think about your previous jobs. Is this very similar to what you've done in the past? And so it's a perfect match for your skills and experience. If so, make sure you tell them that. Could you build a career at Matalan? Are you ambitious? Do you think that you could stay with the company for a long time and you could develop with the business? And the other thing you should definitely do is, while you're answering this question, show that you're eager and be enthusiastic, because that goes down very positively. Let's look at some things that you can say. So you could talk about your experience as a Matalan customer. So say you've shopped here for a long time, you've always had a positive experience, you got a really positive impression of the brand. You could say that I really enjoy working with customers, and so I'm looking for a job where I'm interacting a lot with the public because I love helping people. The next thing you could say is that you really like to meet new people every day, so that's just going to be a good place for you. You want to be delivering an essential service, so providing affordable clothing is an important service. You could say that you're really enthusiastic about working for a family owned company, and that's going to change this and make it different to other employers and have a big effect on the company culture. You could say that you've got lots of previous experience and tell them about your previous relevant experience, and say that Matalan perfectly matches your skills, your experience, and things that you like doing. And you've got lots of experience doing that, and you've had a great time working there. That you're looking at having an active job. You don't want to be sitting down in an office all day if you're applying for a role that is store based, for example. That you really enjoy working in a team. And then that you can say things like that I can build a career at Matalan, and talk about your career ambitions and how you see joining Matalan as furthering those ambitions. So these are the sort of things that you could talk about. And I would recommend that you bullet point an answer to this, because it's so likely to come up and you want to have a few sentences ready to go rather than trying to make it up on the spot when you won't give a very good answer. So definitely have it planned for this, and that'll help you be successful. The next question they quite like is, what skills could you bring to Matalan? So basically, why should we hire you? What are you going to offer? So I'm going to give you a big list of lots and lots of things that you can say. And what I'd recommend is you pick maybe 5 or 6 of these, and you can base your answer around it. So things you could say is that you're well liked by customers in your previous jobs. You've built good, strong relationships with regular customers, and you're someone that is very trusted, you're reliable, and you are very good at interacting with customers. So you can definitely say that you're highly reliable, that you have a perfect attendance track record, you're always on time, and you're someone that you can actually depend on. That you're knowledgeable about fashion, that you've got extensive retail experience, that you work well in a team, that you're supportive and that you actively help people out. You've mentored new staff in the industry, and you are someone that can be relied on to help out, and you're always offering as much as you can in that respect. That you've got a strong work ethic, that you work hard, that when you're in the store, you're not just doing the minimum, you're actively participating. If you see something that's not perfectly tidy and you just go in and you sort it out, you're very proactive in that way, which is why you can also say that you're proactive, that you've got good commercial awareness. So if you understand the business and you've got a little bit of know-how about how the retail industry works and you're interested in that, you could talk about that, that you're calm under pressure. You could say that you're physically fit if you've got a really demanding job that's going to keep you moving around quite a lot. You could say I'm good with challenging customers. So if you've got, for example, that angry customer that's having a bit of a rant, and you are someone that can calmly and confidently deal with that, and that's something you've got a good reputation at, you could say that. You could also say that you're friendly, that you're computer literate, so you can use the computers in the store very effectively. And if you've got some good qualifications, just tell them what qualifications you got. Just list the qualifications that you've got and what you learned when you did those qualifications. And that can really start to put together a good answer. So as I say, pick 5 or 6 of these and be ready to talk about those, and you'll have a good answer ready for this. Before we finish, here's some questions that you could ask after your interview. So at the end, they're likely to say, do you have any questions for us? And you've got to have some questions. So one you could ask is, from your personal experience, what would you say you enjoy most about working at Matalan? You might say, what training and progression could potentially be available at this Matalan store over the next 3 to 5 years for a high performing hire, and find out what potentially your career could look like. You could say, could you tell me more about the team you have built at this Matalan location and how my role fits in? Understand who you're working with and exactly what your role will involve, and show some real genuine interest in your role and that this is what you're looking for, and tell them that that matches exactly your expectations. You could say, as I'm very interested in joining Matalan, I'm interested to know the next steps in your hiring process. Reiterate your interest, and also you probably do want to know the answer to that anyway. When are you going to find out? Are you going to get feedback? These sort of things are good to find out. Then, before you finish, politely thank the interviewer, remind them of your interest, and end on a positive note. Things you shouldn't ask about is taking holidays, delaying start date, moving to a different store, or trying to negotiate your salary upwards before they've even made an offer. These things don't tend to go down very well. So I hope that you have a good experience at your Matalan interview and you're successful. If you could post in the comments what questions they asked, that would be really helpful. And finally, thank you very much for watching.